Good day, dear students. I welcome you all in the Gyan Doot 2.0 program, English Literature. Today, we are going to study the essentials of Shakespeare. I am Mrs. Alka Panwar from Government Girls College, Ajmer. Now, Shakespeare in the world of literature is a very great name. Rather, we can say that English literature is incomplete without the name of William Shakespeare. So, when we talk of Shakespeare, we can keep certain essential points in our mind, certain basic points. Shakespeare was born in April 1564 and he died in April 1616. And he was born in Stratford in London. He was a renowned poet. Basically, he was known as a dramatist, and he also performed the role of actor during the Elizabethan age. The title given to William Shakespeare is the Bard of Avon. Bard means a poet, and Avon is the name of a river which flows in Stratford. Basically, he is a poet and dramatist. So, let us keep one thing in mind, that William Shakespeare is known for his dramas. He also wrote certain poetry and he was also an actor. So, he was born in a poor family. He married at an early age, and in order to earn his living, he moved from Stratford to London. And there he struggled for his living. But he had a very great talent, that is of writing. And in order to earn his living, he also role played. He played the roles of various characters of his own plays and the plays written by other dramatists also. So we can imagine that a very young person who is playing the roles in dramas should have gained a very deep knowledge about drama, which books cannot impart. Because the fact is that he only attended a grammar school, but he never went to the college. And we all know that the university wits like Graham Greene called him an upstart crow. Now, the criticism by a university wit became a positive point for William Shakespeare, because we can have a look at the undertone of jealousy of the university wits. And the matter of jealousy was that during the lifetime of William Shakespeare, his plays were enacted on the stage. He was beginning to become a very popular dramatist without going to the college, without going to the university for any formal degree. So it was obvious that the university wits were jealous of him, as Graham Greene called him an upstart crow. So, William Shakespeare wrote 38 plays in all, and he has written tragedies, comedies, histories, and tragicomedies. The basic main tragedies by William Shakespeare are Hamlet, Macbeth, King Lear, and Othello. So as I told you that William Shakespeare had a very deep knowledge and detailed knowledge about the functioning of drama. So he became a very successful dramatist. His characters, the dialogues, his plot, all were perfect. and some of his plays were enacted during his lifetime only. So, what are tragedies and comedies and histories and tragicomedies? They are all plays. And what is a play? Play is a drama which is meant to be enacted on stage, which has characters, dialogues, and a plot. So, tragedy is a plot which ends in a sorrowful manner, which ends sadly. So, Hamlet, Macbeth, King Lear, and Othello are four major tragedies by William Shakespeare which are very, very popular. He has written a lot of comedies. Now, what is a comedy? Comedy is a play with a happy ending. So, some of his popular comedies are Twelfth Night, Midsummer Night's Dream, Merry Wives of Windsor, etc. He also wrote historical plays. Now, what are historical plays? Historical plays are based on histories. They are factual and they are based on the actual events and people from the history. So, King John, Richard II, and Henry IV are some of his popular histories. Then comes tragicomedies. What is a tragicomedy? Tragicomedy is a blend, is a mixture of tragedy and comedy. According to William Shakespeare, life is neither fully tragic nor fully comic. Life is a mixture of happiness and sorrows. So, in order to give a touch of reality to his plays, he wrote tragicomedies. Now, tragicomedies means those comedies or those plays which have tragic elements also in them, but generally they end happily. So, Cymbeline, The Merchant of Venice, The Winter's Tale are some of the best examples of tragicomedies. So you must have read in Merchant of Venice, though it is broadly categorized as a comedy, but it is actually a tragicomedy. Antonio was about to be killed by Shylock. But Portia came at the right moment and saved him due to her wit, due to her sense of judgment. And the sufferance of the hero in a comedy also gives tragic effects to the play. So that is why tragicomedies have the elements of tragedy as well as comedies. So as I already told you that Shakespeare wrote 38 plays in all. There are many other plays, and about these plays I want to tell you that William Shakespeare had a very deep knowledge of human psychology. Though the branch of psychology, though the science of psychology was not developed during the age of Shakespeare, but still William Shakespeare, without attending any regular college or university education, without attaining any degree of the university, he had such deep knowledge of human behavior, such deep knowledge of human psychology. When we study or when we read Hamlet, we come to know how a person can be confused, how inaction overpowers a very good person. When we study Macbeth, we come to know how inordinate ambition can spoil one's personality. How Macbeth had a downfall from an army general to a murderer. How he became a murderer. Human psychology. Here, in each and every play, we get to learn something. King Lear, when we read this drama, we come to know how a person can be spoiled by praises. His judgment can be marred if he is unable to judge clearly, if he loves only to hear his praise. In the same way, Othello, Othello, Othello's hamartia or Othello's uh, personality's weak point was that he was gullible. Anybody could come and poison his ears. Though basically all the four major characters, Hamlet, Macbeth, King Lear and Othello, they were all such good persons basically, and their downfall causes the effect of catharsis, causes pity and fear in the readers. Because when a basically good person has a downfall, people think that the same may happen to us. And they also experience the feeling of fear that when such good and great persons can fall, what are we? So all the tragedies written by William Shakespeare, they have certain message for humanity. Their dialogues, their characters are such that we can learn at each and every dialogue. We can learn by each and every character. In the same way, when we study the comedies by William Shakespeare, these comedies, such are pure, some comedies are pure comedies and some comedies teach a lesson. We learn the foibles of human nature. We learn the weaknesses of human psyche by reading comedies. Again, histories. He has recreated history by a very psychological point of view. Then, tragicomedies. These plays are the ones which are very near to our real life, because the real life of any person cannot be totally tragic and cannot be totally comic. So each and every play by William Shakespeare is unmatchable. It is par excellence, and these plays have been enacted since the time of Shakespeare till today. Even after the passage of 4 centuries, William Shakespeare is popular among all the countries, and he passes the bounds of time and space. No syllabus of English literature is complete without including William Shakespeare's plays. So the point of relevance comes over here, that how relevant is Shakespeare even after the passage of more than 4 centuries. As Ben Jonson has said, Ben Jonson is the major critic of William Shakespeare. He has said that his plays are like caves, are like mines, and we have to pick precious stones from them, though there may be a little roughness in them. But it is also true that they contain the most precious stones of English literature. Then we come to the poetry by Shakespeare. Though William Shakespeare is basically known as a dramatist, as a playwright, but he has written beautiful poetry. He has written sonnets. We all know what a sonnet is. Sonnet is a short poem of 14 lines. William Shakespeare has written 154 sonnets in all. Now in these 164 sonnets, he has mentioned two people. Rather, we can say that these 154 sonnets have been dedicated to two persons very significant in the life of William Shakespeare. They are the fair youth and the dark lady. Now, who was fair youth? Nobody knows. There's a mystery about the identity of the fair youth. And Shakespeare writes two initials about the fair youth. They are WH. And it is still a mystery who was fair youth. But we all know that fair youth was a young person with highly personal charms, and William Shakespeare was very impressed by this fair youth. We can say that he was his friend. He was a very smart young person, and for whom William Shakespeare dedicated his sonnets. And basically in his sonnets, the themes are time, love, immortality of beauty by poetic art. The passage of time becomes the major theme of Shakespearean sonnets. He is very worried about the passage of time. He requests the fair youth to marry and to leave his replica in this world, because he was very handsome, because he was very smart. So the passage of time always pesters William Shakespeare, always disturbs him. Another theme is love. Then immortality of beauty by poetic art. Most of his sonnets are filled with this theme of immortality of beauty. William Shakespeare believed in the fact that poetic art can make some person immortal. In one of his sonnets, Not Marble, Not Gilded Monuments, he has compared other fine arts with the fine art of literature, with the fine art of poetic caliber. He says that a statue made by marble can be destroyed. A statue made by any metal can be destroyed. A monument can be destroyed. A painting can be burnt and destroyed. But poetic art surpasses all other fine arts. So that is why he chose poetic art in order to immortalize two people. They are the fair youth and the dark lady. About the fair youth, I've already told you. And who was the dark lady? Dark lady is supposed to be the beloved of William Shakespeare, whom he loved very much, and whose dark beauty he has sung in his poems. And his sonnets were first published in 1609. Some of his popular sonnets are Shall I Compare Thee? This sonnet is also dedicated to the fair youth, and here he wants to say that he does not want to compare the beauty and charm of fair youth to a summer's day, because a summer's day has limitations. And a summer's day may end. It has a very short lease. But the beauty and charm of the fair youth will never end. And William Shakespeare said that how will not the beauty of fair youth end? Through poetic art. He promises that he will make the fair youth immortal. As long as eyes can see, this will give life to thee. He says that as long as people are alive, they will read my poems, and my poems contain the beauty of the fair youth and the dark lady. Another very popular sonnet by William Shakespeare is Went to the Sessions. Again, it is also dedicated to the fair youth, where he recounts his sorrows, the sorrows of his life. And again, he compares the sorrows of his life with the gift of a real friend, that is the fair youth. And he finds that he can bear all the sorrows of his life. He can forget about the sorrows of his life when he thinks about the friendship given to him by the fair youth. Another very popular sonnet by William Shakespeare is Like as the Waves. Here also the theme of passage of time is used by William Shakespeare, and he has used variety of themes like the passage of time. Love is one of his popular themes, immortality, mortality of beauty, and immortality of beauty by poetic art. He has also written two narrative poems. Beside these uh, beside these sonnets by William Shakespeare, we can also find poetic elements in the plays by William Shakespeare. Now, when we read his plays, time to time we find that he comes towards poetry. The expressions, the dialogue by the characters of the plays are very, very poetic. The soliloquies are poetic. The poems introduced, the songs introduced in the plays in between, they are filled with poetry. Even the very dialogues by the characters, they are filled with poetry. So William Shakespeare cannot be away from poetry even when he is writing drama. So let us have a quick revision. So today we did William Shakespeare, the essentials of William Shakespeare. So Shakespeare is the Bard of Avon. He was born in Stratford in London. He moved to London at a very young age in order to earn his living. He wrote drama. He role played in a drama. And he also acted as an actor in drama. So drama was his life. It was not only his livelihood, but it was his life. Drama flowed through his veins in his whole body. So he did not go to any university for the formal education or degree, but his practical knowledge was such that even the university wits were very, very jealous of him. He wrote drama, tragedies, plays, tragicomedies and histories, and he also wrote sonnets. So he is basically a poet and a dramatist. The major critic of William Shakespeare is Ben Jonson. So I hope I have made myself clear about the essentials of Shakespeare. Thank you.